Hey, what's up everybody? Ernie here, Wicked Awesome Gifts, and I was just about to start setting up to do a job, a test job. A company wants me to do a test on one of their wine glasses so they can see what it looks like. And I thought to myself, I might as well do a video about it since I'm starting at the beginning. So we'll do this step by step here. I take a little bit of alcohol and put it on a microfiber cloth. Get these at Home Depot, a big pack of them for like 12 bucks. Take our wine glass here and I just wipe her down. You never know what kind of fingerprints, dust, and goo, and you know the condition of my workspace, so it's pretty dusty in here. It's just good to get it clean, that way the paint adheres to the glass. So we get that a good cleaning, and it's alcohol so it dries real fast. I'll set it down on my high-speed workbench on the floor, and I'll show you that here in a minute. While that's drying, I will put the lid back on the alcohol so we don't spill it. And this is what I use for all my glass. I've been recently experimenting with Ceramark because I bought some to do some steel. I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's just me, so if any of you have had success using Ceramark on glass, and by success, I mean that it looks good, let me know. Put in the comments below, and I'll keep digging with it, but I've done 4 or 5 samples so far. I've done a couple test grids, and I just don't like the way it looks on glass, so I might wait till I get my CO2 machine and worry about doing glass with Ceramark. But for now, that's for black marking. The company that I'm working with now, all their current glass has black on it. Well, I showed them a sample of what it looks like when we engrave it with white, and they seem to like it, so they're like, hey, do up one of our wine glasses, let's see if it looks good. So okay, so I use the Rust-Oleum chalkboard spray paint. People always ask me what color. I've only ever seen it in black, so I'm not trying to be an asshole when I say that, and my kid's happy out there, but I've never seen other colors. Now there is chalk spray. Don't be confused, this is not chalk spray. That might come in different colors. This might come in different colors, but I've never seen it before. So this is standard black Rust-Oleum chalkboard spray paint. And that's what I use for all my glass anymore. I don't mess with the tempera, I don't use the Cold Galvo, I don't use any of that crap. For me, again, you all know my disclaimer by now, I do what I have found to be the best and give the best results for me. So if you use tempera paint and you love it and you think it looks great, cool, keep doing it. I think this looks the best, so I'm going to use this. So let me turn you around and bring you down to my super high speed thingamabobber. Alright, there we have our wine glass sitting on my Home Depot paint bucket. Now when I spray this, I just give it a decent coat coverage. I'll go back and forth, coverage, go up and down. I'll look at it. I just want to make sure there's really no light passing through. I don't put a super heavy coat or anything like that. All right. Just like that. Now, given that I don't know where this is just a sample. If I was doing it for real, I would probably tape off the top and edges or whatever, but I'll just clean it. I don't care. But I don't know how far over I'm going to go, so with the logo, we'll just leave it. Yeah, that should be plenty. So that's all we do. Alright, so let me move this, and we'll set that guy up there and let it dry. Usually this stuff will take about 5-10 minutes to dry. It doesn't take very long at all. So I'm not gonna waste your time listening to me ramble, because those of you that know by now, I can ramble on forever. But we're not gonna do that. So I'm gonna end this recording for now. I'll splice it together later when I'm ready to do the lasering. My laser's a mess. It's been a super busy week, guys. I had a lot of orders to do this week, and normally Sunday is my cleaning day, and I haven't even had a chance to clean yet. So wifey's out getting the daughter, doing some shopping at the grocery store. So I got little man, so he's gonna in and out interrupting me. So while I'll probably do the videos when she gets back, so I can shut the door and be left alone. But as soon as that's dry, I'll go clean up the laser and get that ready, and then I'll show you how I do the lasering part. And then for those of you that care about the settings and all that stuff, we'll go over all the settings at the end of the video and I'll show you what I do and all that. But for now, I'm just gonna whip right through it, get this done, and then we'll review everything at the end of the video. Alright, so stick around, we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. So thing dried already, didn't take long. Literally it was 5 minutes. Not even that. I could have just left the video on and talked to you, but that's cool. So I cleaned up enough of the stuff over here where we can get the job done. So we've got our painted glass here. Now some people get really over technical about this part. They'll be trying to measure and gauge how much light goes through it, and guys, just paint the glass. You know what I mean? And once you do it 1,000 times, you're gonna learn what the good thickness is based on the results you get. So you don't really have to get crazy with all that. Let's open a window. Oh shit. Can't do this two-handed. Hey, now we have some light. Hopefully I don't mess up the camera, but okay, so we got our glass. Now what I typically do at this point, I'll get her in the vise, but before I've never done one this shape. It's almost the same shape as the stemless wine tumblers that I did for the wine place. So what I typically do is, you got to find how much flat area you have to work with. I personally don't like engraving over the contour because it just makes things look weird, and I don't have time for all that. And I'm finding most customers don't like that either, honestly. So I find as much flat spot as I can, and then I measure it. And if you don't have, just little tiny tidbits along the way, if you don't have a cheap ass measuring, what do you call these things? I don't even know. It's not a measuring tape, but I mean it's the stuff seamstresses use, whatever. The cloth measuring tape. I don't know what the hell it's called off the top of my head right now. I'm tired. So keep one of these. I've always got this within my reach somewhere. If I don't have this, I'm going crazy, and I usually have it hanging around my neck when I'm doing work, because then I know right where it is. So I always have one of these handy. These and a steel rule. I've always got a steel rule. So those are the two things I always keep around me. So we're going to take our wine glass. We're going to measure, and I do everything in millimeters. No, I'm not French. It's just easier to laser everything in millimeters than it is standard English measurements. So we go from the edge, and I'm probably only going to go about 70, it looks like. Maybe 60, 65. Actually, I'm gonna keep it at 6 centimeters, 60 millimeters. It starts to go around the bottom, and that's just, I think, probably too big. So we're gonna do 60, and if it turns out like crap, we'll do it again. Ain't a big deal. So it's funny that it's 60, because what I normally also do is I'll take, whether it's a wine glass, a beer glass, a pint glass, a tumbler, doesn't matter what it is, I will typically look at it and decide, okay, I'm looking at this, how much width do I want my logo to be? I personally like things to be visible without having to turn the cup or glass. I don't want to make it so wide that the people have to turn to read the text or turn to see the rest of the image. So you typically want to measure that way, look at it and be like, I could squeeze about 70 millimeters out of this one. It's a kind of a lot, but I know that's my threshold, so I'll keep that in the back of my head, but I'll probably end up shooting for 60. So we have room to play on left to right with the width of it. We don't have a lot of room to play up and down, right? Vertically. So when we get in light burn in a minute, I will use that as my static and let my variable be the other side. So I know I only want to go 60 millimeters up and down. Now if I put it at 60 and the width happens to be 50, 60, cool, I know I'm good, right? If it goes to 70, I'm still good, that's within my range. If for some reason that whatever graphic I'm using, the dimensions might be where if it's 60 tall, it's 80 wide, I know that's exceeded my threshold. I don't want to go 80 wide. I want to keep it under 70. So then I'll use that as my static, bring that down to 70, and then the top will fall below my 60 and I'll be good to go. So just things to think about when you're doing this. Let's bring you over here. And that camera got all crazy. Just turn you around. All right. So now we're over here at the laser. And let's bring you up. Where in the hell are you? Wow, you guys are pointed at the wall. All right, let's put you up here. Right there. Come on, grippy legs. All right, let's bring you down. Down, down, down. Man, that thing got way miscombobulated. We'll bring you over here. Okay, cool. So this should work for now. See if I can work around this camera. So I'm going to try and stick the bottom in here. And I've never done a wine glass with a bottom on it. I usually do the stemless. Now I could do it this way, which would probably be fine because I'm going to do inside my brackets anyway. Probably should do that, but just for shits and giggles, I want to see if it'll actually hold it this way, because we don't know if we don't test, right? And let's see. A little chuck key here. I always keep my hand over here until I get 3 good presses in the chuck, just because I don't want it to fall out. Huh, look at that. That actually holds it pretty good. I want to do it this way just to see what happens. I've never held it. It just doesn't seem to be rotating very oblong-ish, so it's pretty square. That's cool. Yeah, it's when I spin it with my hand, I watch right here, and sometimes it'll do like this when you spin it if it's not square to the chuck, but it's in there really good. That's cool. All right. So the reason I want to do it this way, because I was curious, we're gonna have to level this thing. Now, technically, you don't have to level it. You can engrave it on this contour, but I find that with some things, if it gets out of focus too much, it looks weird. So we're gonna level it. Now, some people have asked me about doing these, and if I were to have turned it the other way, we would have to pick up the back end, right, this way. And I have a board I stick on there. You can see I got a line here that I've drawn, a line for my pint glass. It says pint glass level. So I'll stick a board under there, stick it to there, and it ends up being perfectly level. So now I haven't done it this way, so we're going to learn together if this is a good way to do it or not. I'll get the head out of the way. So I take my little level that xTool gave us. You put on there, obviously it's not level, right? So we need to lift this side up. And it's going to be a considerable lift because of these wine tumblers are just so contoured. Damn magnet on my way. All right. I have an oak board that I typically use for this. And I'll slide this under, tilt this thing up out of my jig. So you have to be real careful doing this too, because it lifts out of your jig so you can lose square. Now I know as long as the back end is still in my cutout, it's still going to be squared, so I'm not concerned with that right now. So we put this back on our bubble. We see we're still way off. We're nowhere near level. Remember, my print area is from the lip to here, so we're trying to get that part level. So we're going to have to go way up, all right? Now, one thing, if you start pushing your board under too high, the back end will lift up because gravity changes, right? So you got to be cognizant of that. And if that starts to happen, then you have to shim it in other areas. So doing these contoured cups, glasses, wine things, they can be a real pain in the ass. But once you do this once, and if you are using a jig system and you mark things, then you've only got to do it once, because then you just do your markings next time. We're getting closer. I think we're going to have to, I think gravity's going to mess with us here in a minute. And the thing's going to start tilting forward, so I need to shim it some more. That looks really high. It's funny, it looks way out of whack, but it's still not really level yet. Man, that's crazy. All right, so I don't want to push this board back anymore because I already know the thing's going to start tilting. So now I'm going to get some of my other shims out of my drawer here. I've got some blocks that are taped together for certain heights. I'm going to stick one of those under the front. Hey, look, now we're level. We're getting there. That is insane. Now this could also be a downfall, guys, of doing it this way instead of putting the main part of the glass in there. I probably wouldn't have to jerk it up this high. So at the front it's off, at the back it's off, and in the middle it's perfect. So we're going to call this good. Now, sometimes I'll spin her around just to see what it looks like, and it's pretty interesting, I'll tell you what. Alright, well, we're going to give that a go. Now let me square it up to the back piece. So we're square, we're flush on the back. We should still be square that way with the machine. That's pretty high. I'm wondering if we're going to be able to even get the laser head up over it. I don't think so. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, go potty, buddy. So that's not going to work. Jesus Christ, why did you shut my door? Alright, I'll shut my door. Okay, so that's not going to work. Let's take all this shit out. Now we're going to go ahead and turn the glass around. And we learned together, these long stem wine glasses, you have to go way too high. So that's no bueno. Even though it stuck in there and it stayed square, which was pretty cool, it's not going to work. Alright, so we turn her around. Now, since I want to come pretty close to the top because I'm limited on space, these things will get in the way. Now I know my graphic's only going to be about this wide, so I'm safe to engrave with inside the thingies. So I'll look at where my painted area is, and this is going to be center. So I'll make sure that the center area is inside these two little grippers. That way I don't have to worry about banging on the grippers. And I'll get it. When I'm doing this, guys, I'm keeping good pressure on this hand, pushing that way, while I'm tightening this one. and putting back pressure to make sure nothing moves. It's a lot of finagling you got to do to get these things squared in there. If you just throw it in there willy-nilly, it can be off. Even if it's off a little millimeter or half a millimeter, it will it'll wobble when it rotates, and you don't want that. Alright, so we're in there pretty square. I'm happy with that. Level is off. So let's move my magnets. And we'll stick the board under this end. Let's see. Now this should work because this is about the same size as a tumbler. And I've already got my markings for my other tumblers. So I don't know if you can see, but what I'm doing, I'm lining this board up with the line that I've drawn on my jig. So now it's perfect that way. Now I get my rotary. There's a little 90 degree I drew there, and I push it flush against that way. And all of this, guys, is trial and error. So as you find spots where your machine does good, I would encourage you to write, mark, and do everything. That way you've only got to do this once. So now I don't even have to measure all this. All I got to do is line up all these stupid lines. And I think we're good right there. Now she's not quite level because this one is way more bulbous than the other one. I was hoping it would be the same, but it's not. But that's fine. So we'll just move it up here a little bit. And this thing is very, very bulbous. I just like saying that word. Bulbous. Alright, we're going to get to the point where it's going to be too high again eventually. So that right there is our height as far as we can go. So we don't want to exceed that. So we have a little bit more room. We can try to get it a little bit more level. And see, now gravity's messing with us, so we're going to have to shim the back. Now that's too big, so I need my other. Man, this is going to be a long video now. Little wood pieces I use for more shims. Alright, that'll keep her from popping up on us as much. So we still got room to focus. We're good there. Man, that's a lot. I'm only going to do this 2 more times, and if it ain't level, it ain't level. We're just going to do it, because you don't have to be perfect focused doing these anyway. Alright, now she's really close. I mean, that's really close to level. So we're going to call that good. I'm going to pause the video for a minute. The kid's using the bathroom and he needs some help, so I'll be right back. Okay, boys and girls, I'm back. Nice cup of coffee. What do you think of my coffee cup? Pretty cool, huh? Ragnar. Anyway. So this is level enough. At the very top it's not level. At the bottom it is not level. In the middle it's kind of level. We're going to call that good. It's still going to engrave fine. It's not that out of focus. Speaking of focus, we'll bring this over. I know it's pretty dark, so I don't know if you guys can even see or not, but so now we know that this is not perfectly level, right? So we're not gonna focus in the front, we're not gonna focus in the back, we're gonna focus right in the middle so that it's out of focus, so to speak, evenly amongst the whole thing. So we get down, we touch the glass, and we move the piece. And then I get my slide rule over here. As if you guys remember from my other videos, I have marked where center is on my rotary. Right there. So now she's centered. Turn the little laser on. Now typically I don't like to start at the top, because it just looks weird. Normally I'll go down 10 millimeters from the top and start, but since we're stuck on room here, we don't have a lot of room, I'm going to do 5 and see how that looks when I frame it. It's pretty, it's not giving us a whole lot of room, so now we're looking at only 40. Because I don't like, now that I have it level, I don't want to go down 50 and 60. So now we're at 40 millimeters. So let's go down 2.5. Now again, when we show the customer, they might say, hey, do you mind bringing that down a little bit? So we know we got a tiny bit of room to play, but I'm going to go down 2.5 millimeters from the top and start. I just want to see how much I can get on here before it messes up. So now we can go down 10, 20, 30, 45. I'm going to try 45. So let me see if I can keep the grippers here and point you up at the computer. I don't really want to do this one-handed. I don't know if you guys, well, I guess you guys can't even see. So let me take this off. Bring that back down. All right. So there we go. I'll try and do it one-handed. We'll start a new file. And with my cups, guys, I don't mess with creating a permanent template between Lightburn and the jig. It's not, you don't need it. I used to do it, and you find that you really don't need it. Just import the file, get it where you want it, use current position, and you're good. So let's import customers, Stone Tree logo. All right, there's their logo. They're going to be getting me some other various types of logos too, so look forward to that. All right, so wrong way. Got the cup turned around. Okay, so we got the top of the graphic facing left. Down there, the cup is facing left, so everything's good. And we said we want to go about 45. So we're going to change that to 45. Bring it up so I can see it. And settings, I'm going to stick in my standard settings. We'll review these at the end if you need to. This is what I use for glass all the time. Alright, so that's good. So we'll turn on our noisy air assist. I use air assist on everything. And let's go back down here and frame it. Oh, one thing I didn't show you, notice my little green dot was in the middle, so I don't have it set up on the middle in the cup. So over here, I use current position, and we're going to take that dot that's in the little grid here and put it left middle. That's where I have the laser starting for this job. So that's how it knows to start right there. So now as long as I don't ever touch this, I let the job finish, return to position, it'll do this automatically. I can do cup after cup after cup, and every one will be 100% the same, as long as you don't move anything. So that's the trick, is not to move anything. So now let's give it a frame. That's really skinny. Don't like that. Alright, so I don't have the circumference set right. So let me click you back in here for a minute. I forgot this step. That's why it's always good to frame, guys. You want to make sure that things are the way they're supposed to be. If I just went and hit start, we'd be doing this again. So I measure the circumference of this to give me a starting point. It's not going to be exact because it's tapered, and it's 28, so that's 280. One thing I also will do is get a little piece of tape. Where's my tape? There it is. So I'm going to get a little piece of tape, and our center is around about here. Can't measure there because that thing's in the way, so we go down I don't want to move this, so I'm just going to eyeball it. It's going to get me close enough for what we're doing. That's bottom of that tape is about where the center is on that line. Now we know our width is 45, so half of 45 is what? 22 and a half. So we're going to go down 10, 25, 2 and a half, right about there. So the distance between this insides of the tape is about 22 and a half millimeters. That means that when I frame it, it should go around and that laser beam should come down and touch, not up here, but this bottom corner. It should come right out of there. If it's not, then I need to adjust my circumference. So let's hit that frame again. You can see it's nowhere near, right? Alright, now that is hard to eyeball being that far away. So let's go ahead and do it here. Yeah, and this kind of seems annoying, right? But when you're doing a batch job, you only have to do this once. So I do this over adjusting my image all day long. I'm not going to sit there and do math and get the circumference of pi minus the fart of an angle of a gnat. I'm not doing that shit. So I'm not going to explode my image and make my image look stupid. I deal in exact numbers. My image is 45 millimeters wide. That's what I wanted on my cup. So I measure. It's way better this way for me. So we hit frame again, we go back. Now we know it's not going to be anywhere near there. So that's because it's set to the circumference of the other cup I was using. So we said that was what, 280? Go to laser tools, rotary setup. Right here we've got our circumference at 305. I was doing big cups before. So let's set that to 280. Now it's very rare that it works the first time, so you have to trial and error. That was pretty close. We're only off a little bit. So we go back up here to laser tools, rotary setup. Let's go 290. Hit frame. So that was still not quite there. I went the wrong way. I think it got worse. So we'll go 270. There we go. Almost there. Alright, perfect. So I don't know if it got close enough for you to see, but it rubbed the edge top corner of that tape. I didn't keep showing the camera up on that thing, but I ended up going at 250. So this is where the math does come in. There is an equation you can use to measure the diameter of the small end, the diameter of the big end. You go against pi, split the difference, some shit, I don't know. It's not important. For me, I just adjust the circumference in Lightburn until I get it right. So now I know from here, the edge, and when we're done, we'll measure it. It'll be close. Now, we're just kind of winging this because I'm doing a video, and this is a test piece. When I do an actual production piece, I'll get a lot more exact. But since the camera's in my way and everything, I'm not going to get that exact right now. So we've got everything here.
Daddy,
what, buddy?
my mom's taking off my phone.
All right, well, be careful. Don't drop it, okay? All right, buddy. So I think we're good. Frame it one last time. Now, to me, that's gonna, yeah, that looks a lot more wide. It's pretty close to the top. Now I want to check, I haven't been watching the bottom. I want to see how far it comes down over the curvature. Not very much, so I actually could make this a little bigger, but instead I'm gonna push this down a little bit, back closer to 5. I don't like my images being that high. not 5, but 10. I don't like my images being that high. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Now I notice it came over to the light side a little bit here, so I want to turn it just a little bit, because I don't want to go in on the side that's not really marked up with the paint as much. Nice full contact. Okay, I like that. So this is good. So now I'm going to go ahead and start the burn. And there we go. And I'll go ahead and end the video. This is going to take 11 minutes and 45 seconds. So we'll come back when this is done. We're going to take it off. We're going to clean it. And then we're going to measure, just so you guys can see, we're going to measure the total width of the image and see how close we got to our 45. Right now we have it at 45 millimeters. So we're going to see how close we got to that. We should be real darn close, and it's not going to look stupid. Even though it's not going to be 100% 45. It could be, but I don't think so. But it's not going to be dumb looking either. So, all right, we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, engraving's done. So now we're in my high-speed cleanup area, also known as the kids' bathroom. And we have our wine glass. Now, I went ahead and measured it, and it is 43.5. Pretty close to the 45, right? So, as we look, I'll clean it off in a minute, but it's easier to see like this. I don't like the positioning. It's too high. I think we could go a little bit bigger, but this is perfectly acceptable to show the customer, because at the end of the day, it matters where they want it, not where you want it. So what I might like, they might not like. So I'd rather say, okay, here's what it looks like. The quality of the engraving is what we're after right now, is to show them how the actual engraving looks and feels compared to the black that they have. And then we can say, okay, do you want it down a little bit? Do you want it a little wider? And yeah, so I'll give them the option to say, yeah, let's bring it down a bit. And, you know, then I'll just have a Sharpie on me. We'll mark where we want it. I'll do another sample, and that'll be a final proof. So let's go ahead and get this thing cleaned off. Now, for cleaning, this Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint will clean off with water and a magic eraser. It will clean off with alcohol and a magic eraser. I like to use the Citrus strip. It's a little expensive, but it saves a lot of time, which to me, time is important. But just so you can see, I've got another magic eraser that I've already used. It's all gunked up. Get it wet. Give it a little rub down. That's on the inside of the glass, so I'm being an idiot. Come back over here, and you see it's coming off, right? So just water and a magic eraser, it will come off. You gotta give it a little bit of elbow grease, but, or you just spray it with this. You get this at Home Depot, Amazon, whatever. Be careful with this, because this will take paint off of anything. I give it a little, turn the water off. I give it a little spray. Spray the inside. Since I didn't tape off the cup, I got a little bit everywhere, so we'll just spray it all off. But as you can see on my fingers, it's already coming off. So using the Citrus strip is cool, but it's really messy. But I mean, it literally comes right off. So just let the Citrus strip sit on there a minute, do its job, and it comes right off. Normally I use paper towels, but that's on the wife's shopping list. I don't have any paper towels. We ran out. I don't use a rag for this because the rag will get really gummed up and really gunky with all this paint. Because sometimes when you use the Citrus strip, this paint will come off in layers of actual peels of paint. And then it'll stick on your cloth and just, it makes a mess. So that's why I use paper towels, because they go right in the trash. But for now, since I don't have paper towels, I can use my thumb and my fingers and just wipe her down. Go over the whole glass. This is one of the reasons, I mean, I really like doing glass because it comes out beautiful, but glass work is very labor intensive. So regardless of what chemicals you're using, you have to paint the glass, you have to laser the glass, and then you have to clean the glass. So it's a lot of times your customers might be confused, like, I know you only bought those glasses for $1 from Webstaurant. Why are you charging me $15 to do it? Well, this is why. I mean, it's a lot of work to do this stuff. It's very labor intensive. Now we get her all clean. Now that I got the majority of the paint off, I'm going to set it down. Wash my hands because you get that shit all over your hands. And I don't want to transfer it back onto the cup. So I'll just wash my hands off real quick. That's what I do like about the chalkboard paint. It comes right off with soap and water too. I mean, you could soap and water and magic eraser. I just like the Citrus strip because it gets it all off 100%. Without having to do a whole lot of scrubbing. Now I'm going to wash my glass with some regular old Dawn dish soap. It's almost empty. So, get her all good and clean. Now it's going to be hard to see the engraving because it's white on clear. I'll find something with color and stick on it. Or I think I ran out of Kool-Aid. Normally I'll stick some Kool-Aid in there, but I think that's on the shopping list too. Alright, so there's that. Imagine you get 1,000 order of these and you gotta do this 1,000 times. It'll take a while. And we still got a little bit of paint on the inside bottom, but I'll clean that later. It's not important for what we're doing right now. This sink is really small, so I just want to get this clean without breaking it and banging it on the edge. My black's probably going to bug me. Let me see if I can get it out of here. This is why it's good to tape off your glass before you spray it, but I was just being lazy. Didn't want to do it. Alright, but as for the actual engraving, it is free and clear of any black stuff. So we'll go dry this off. There's my handy dandy towel. Oh, this towel's red, so I'll just stick this inside it and that'll help us look at the engraving up close. Still got some paint on the bottom. Okay, so there's our engraving, and let's see if I can get her. I don't know how well this thing will focus, but I'll take a picture of it later and put on the website or the Facebook forum. It's hard for me to tell with this little handheld if it's actually showing you if it's focusing or not, but looks real good. I am very happy with that. It feels screen printed. So when you do this, it should look frosted, okay? That's why I like the Rust-Oleum paint, because it looks nice and frosted. and you should not see a lot. You shouldn't be able to see through it, for one. A lot of the stuff that I see that gets posted, it's amazing what people think looks good. It's like American Idol singers when their mom says, "You're great, go on there," and they sound terrible. But you shouldn't see a lot of crappy, jagged edges. You will see little lines in there because, you're actually scratching the glass with the laser. But, it should be a frosted consistency. It should be smooth. You shouldn't be able to see daylight through the cracks in the glass. And that's what people are going to like. So, maybe, I don't know if I have any bad examples to show you. I don't want to embarrass anyone, but I can pull one off the internet somewhere and leave their name off and show you some of the garbage that's out there. But this is what you're going for. In my opinion, this is what you want. And the customers really like this a lot. Oh, focusing failed. There we go. So we'll end the video. I'll get back in the computer room and then we'll talk about settings and the final results, and we'll be good. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. We're back in the computer room and we have our finished engraving. Now, I did find an old bottle of wine. I'm out of Kool-Aid, but let's see if we pour this in there. This wine is yuck. I think it's been around a while. Shit, can't get it out. Urgh. There we go. Yeah, it's no good. Actually, it's not bad. I might just drink that. I thought it had been sitting too long, so whatever. We'll pour it in here, drink a little bit, throw the rest away. But I wanted to show you. Oh man, it didn't go all the way to the top. This is a big wine glass. Alright. Well, maybe it's enough to show you what the engraving looks like anyway. Or not. I got a glare going on. Let's try this. So pretty. But that's a glare. It's glaring. But it looks beautiful. So I'll try to take some pictures later and post it up when I post the video. So there you go. That's how we do a wine glass testing, start to finish. If I were doing this in production mode, then I wouldn't, the next one I would just put in, lock in, hit go. The next one, put in, lock in, hit go. I don't have to do all that setup anymore because I've already, the first one takes the longest to set it all up. Once you get it set up, then you're good to go as long as you don't touch anything and don't move anything. And that, when you do that, all of your glasses or cups, whatever you're doing, will be the exact same every time. So if you sit them side by side, images are the same size, same distance from the tops, and they all look 100% the same. So that's how we do the wine glass. Now the settings that I used for this were 1500 speed. Now for those of you that use millimeters per second, just divide it by 60. I think it comes out to what, 25? So 25 speed and 100 power. I blast the hell out of my glass and I use 319 LPI. So I found that those settings work the best for me. I did try many other settings using that speed for my laser. That's what I get. So people will inevitably put in comments, "Oh, I've only got a 10 watt and I use less than that and mine looks great." Cool. Keep doing that. This just goes to show you guys that you can't always copy settings because they're different for every machine. Even two same machines. If you've got an xTool D1 Pro 20 watt machine, just like I do, the same rotary, the same cup, the same everything, you stick it in there, your settings will probably be different. Each laser puts out a different level of power, especially because we have different hours on our machine. These things don't stay 100%. They do deteriorate over time. So even though it's little, even though yours might be brand new, mine might be brand new, I might have used mine 10 hours more than yours. So there might be just a slight hair difference of power. So that's why a lot of us don't post our settings all the time, or we get annoyed of everybody. What are your settings? What are your settings? What are your settings? Over and over and over again. Come on, guys. Do your own testing. Figure out your own settings. Don't sit here and say, well, I just need a starting point. Your test grid is your starting point, not my settings, right? Now, I put my settings out anyway just so people have them. Otherwise, I'm going to get 50 questions over and over again that I don't want to answer. So I just put them out there. And if you want to waste your time, plop down a wine glass, put in my settings, and hope it comes out great, cool, do it. That's how you like doing your thing. You do your thing. You do you. I don't tell you how to be you. Do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, from my best perspective, from what I have learned to do over time, is do your test grid. I have a wine glass somewhere in this room that has a test grid on it. I have something in this room everywhere that has a test grid on it. From there, I look at, in case you guys don't know what a test grid is, we'll talk for a minute. Here are some test grids I did last night with Ceremark on tile. Okay? So somewhere I have a grid just like this on a wine glass. And then I look at it and I go, I like the look here. Right? So I'm going to see my power. I'm going to see my speed. I'm going to come over, come down. Okay. 70 speed at 30% power. 70 speed, millimeters per minute, is going to multiply by 60. It's 4,200. So 4,200 speed, 30% power. That's what I'm going to set my machine on. That's your starting point, guys. Okay? Not some random dude settings off the internet. Just save yourself some trouble. If you don't have a good test grid file, I have one on my forum. Look up Wicked Awesome Gifts on the internet, on Facebook, and you'll see my I don't know if it's linked on there. I probably should put it there. But I have message me or put a comments below. I'll put, I forgot. I'm new to YouTube and I don't know how to do this shit yet. But I'll put in the links for my Facebook group. So you can go there. I have a free copy of a test grid on there you can use. It looks just like this. But that's your starting point. That's where you want to start your settings. And as you see for this particular case, there's a bunch I could use. For the wine glass, there's a few that are decent looking. One thing I'll add to that is, let's say you pick one of these grids, and then I tell people after you do that, do a circle square test. Get a 20 millimeter circle and a 20 millimeter square. One or the other, or both. Depends what kind of material you're using. And then do it using those settings you picked off the grid, because these little squares can lie to us. Sometimes it might look good in this tiny ass little 2 millimeter square. So then you put it in a big 20 millimeter square, and you might see some shading you don't like, or you might see some see-through areas or something like that. So do that. And if it still looks good, then that's your setting you want to use. Go ahead and do you a test product and make sure it looks good. If not, tweak it. You know, depending on how it looks, go up or down accordingly. You know, if it's not dark enough, slow it down a little bit. Or if you have room, like in this case, it's only 30% power, just add 10% power, right? Or 5% even, because maybe if you look in 4200 at 40 is not good, so do 35, right? Just figure, you can figure that part out. So do your test grids, do them on everything, and I promise you 100%, if you guys do your test grids, you will never have to post in a group, what are my settings? What settings do I use? You'll already know, okay? I don't mean to sound condescending or be a jerk or anything like that. God, I see it so much every day, hundreds of people. You know, hey, can someone give me a list of settings for all the tumblers and all the colors? Nope. I could sit and take the time to give you my results of all my test grids for all my colors, for all my tumblers, but honestly, why do I want to spoon feed you like that? Do your own testing. Plus, other than that, they're not going to work for you, right? So it's just wasting your time. I would rather give you the most beneficial help. I would, teach a man to fish kind of thing, right? if I just give you a magic list of settings and then you go and try to do it and they don't work, you're just going to hate me and you're going to think I gave you the wrong things. So I'd rather show you how to do it than just give you something. So there you go. There's my speech. I'm off my soapbox. We did a wine glass start to finish. I get a little drifty. My brain don't work as good as it used to. So if I miss something along the way, let me know. Put in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me if I missed something, or if you need to know a little bit more information. Where I don't mind answering settings questions is if you come and say, hey, I tried this settings at this speed and this power and here's what I got. Perfect. You at least tried something. You didn't come say, what am I going to use my settings? So try something, and if it doesn't work, you know, we'll help you out. There's a lot of us in the group that are willing to help you out. So put in the comments below if you need to see anything else for that. Make sure you hit the like button, smash that, share it with your friends, subscribe if you want to. It's free to hit the subscribe button, so and then you'll get updates when I make videos, right? Cool. I think we're done. So I will catch you guys next time. Our next video is going to be on leather, I think. So maybe I'll have time to do that tonight. I'm not sure. If I do, then we'll do up some leather. But I gotta go to work tomorrow for my real job. So I won't be staying up too late tonight. So take it easy, have fun, and go laser something.